Hey, what's going on everyone? BoHD here, and this is a brand new Motorola Droid Turbo 2 fresh out of the box. Verizon and Motorola were nice enough to not only send me a Droid Turbo 2 to cover for all of you, but to test the claim of the unbreakable shatterproof display, which is guaranteed not to crack or shatter. Now, I'm not in the market to destroy smartphones, but when I have the privilege to test the durability of a smartphone, well, I usually do it through real-world scenarios. I didn't go and drop the Droid Turbo 2 from Portland's tallest building or take it to a firing range, even though that would be a lot of fun. I figure most people accidentally drop their devices from around pocket height, and the surface that usually wreaks the most havoc is concrete. So I went in my garage and decided to drop the Droid Turbo 2 on the relatively smooth concrete floor from about pocket height. Since we're testing the claim of the display and not the overall durability, I simply dropped it face down on the display. The very worst possible angle to drop a smartphone. After taking a close look at the device, I didn't see much damage at all. There were some very faint and very minor scratches, but overall, it looked unscathed. The next drop I did was in the same location, but at about a 6-foot height. I figured 6 feet is about the absolute highest one would drop a smartphone in real world usage. Of course, there are some rare circumstances where a phone would fall from a greater height, but for the average person, 6 feet is plenty high. I did proceed to drop it face down on its display and it bounced a little bit, but I didn't see much of any damage to the display, just some dirt and some dust that could be easily wiped off. So that's great news, it passed that portion of the test. For the next portion, I decided to drop it on a very uneven concrete that consists of small, jagged rocks. Pressure equals force per area, so the less area, the more force. This test would absolutely result in a shattered smartphone if it were any other smartphone but the Droid Turbo 2. You kind of see where I'm going with this. I proceeded to drop the Droid Turbo 2 face down at pocket level height, and it hit the ground very firmly. The right-hand side of the device definitely took some damage. You could see each little point of impact from the concrete and the rocks, but the display did not shatter in any way. It still functions flawlessly. For the very last drop test, I dropped the Turbo 2 at a 6-foot height, face down, and it did a nice little bounce this time. It didn't quite hit the ground face down. The bottom portion of the display, I would say, took the most damage. As you can see here, there's a pretty large impact crater in the lower left-hand quadrant with some damage around the sides of the device here and there. What's surprising though is that the display still hasn't shattered and it still works fine. If we head back inside to the studio and take a closer look at the Droid Turbo 2, we'll see just how much damage it received. Considering what it went through, it's impressive to see that the display is not shattered and is still very much functional. Now, as for how this is all possible, the Droid Turbo 2 features a 5-layer plastic ShatterShield display. Motorola calls the 2 outer layers lenses. What's neat is that you can peel off the topmost layer and actually remove some scratches and scuffs, and it'll even remove the Verizon logo that is plastered on the front of the device. If you do remove the top layer, I'd highly recommend you replace it with a screen protector. Also, it may void your 4-year warranty against shattering and cracking. But with that said, I think it's safe to say the Droid Turbo 2 display is truly unbreakable under real-world usage. With that said, I'm BoHD from PhoneDag.com. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you right back here in the next one. See ya.